We're here today with Jelani Jenkins. He played college football at University of Florida, and then continued his career to the NFL, where he played for the Miami Dolphins and had a couple other different opportunities. We're speaking with him today because post-athlete and post his career, he has developed a very unique niche where he's found a passion to empower athletes with their transition into life, just more specifically and whatnot. But Jelani, we'll let you tell us about that. Tell us about just your career and then who you are and what you're doing here today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm Jelani Jenkins. So I grew up in Maryland, Montgomery County, Maryland, and ended up playing for the University of Florida. So went down to Florida, played there 4 years, got drafted to the Dolphins, played there 4 years, ended my career with the Houston Texans and the Raiders. My fifth season, had a healthy career for the most part, but at the end I got injured and had some challenges with injuries and different things. So my last year was my fifth year, and I came out, had some identity crisis type issues, was struggling to kind of get over that, was escaping in a lot of different ways. And was really what that time period, which probably lasted about a year or so, really led me down this path of wanting to help other individuals who are in a similar situation that I was in. That opportunity allowed me to kind of go through my own self-discovery journey. That's when I started really diving deeper into meditation and yoga and journaling and reading a bunch of self-help books, and ended up getting invited to a Tony Robbins event.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Walked on Fire.
You did it all.
Listen to this David Goggins Can't Hurt Me book. Y'all might have heard of it, but it's an amazing book. But listen to that, and it propelled me to want to run a marathon. So ran a marathon. Anyway, all those experiences in that time period was really teaching me the power of the mind. And so that experience, along with where I was at, I wanted to really incorporate something that could help other athletes from a mindset standpoint be able to perform at their best in life, taking the gold skill sets that were experienced from sports and really finding something purposeful and a way to give back in the process. So that's where I'm at. And that's kind of the motivation behind everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
That's lovely. So how did you go through, you have this high level of success in college with the NFL. Most people don't do it, right? What's the statistics? 98, 99% of players don't get to go to professional. So you have that experience. And then you come out, you have this identity crisis, which all athletes have, especially with us starting to play at a young age, right? You get into this sport and that's all you're trained to perform at a high level in the sport. So how did you go from that to these experiences throughout that 1 year to create your service in your company, your program? How did you make that transition?
Yeah, it was initially, I have this Polaroid picture that my wife, she took of me in that time period. I had my headphones on. I was playing Call of Duty. I had this big old bong in front of me. I had clothes all over the place and empty plates around me. And I remember seeing that picture, and it was the first time where I saw myself from the outside in and recognized that I wasn't in a good place.
Yeah.
Because before that, I was kind of able to escape from what I was really going through. And so, like I said, meditation was really helpful during that time, journaling, a lot of self-reflection. But ultimately, I think what really started helping me from a professional standpoint was I got connected with a mentor. And he's the one who invited me to the Tony Robbins event. And he's still a mentor to me today. And I've gathered three new mentors since then that have all really been impactful in my journey to now. I invested in a coach to help, and it was really an online course. It's a group coaching program, online course that teaches you how to scale your online business.
Okay.
So I started really between mentorships and just investing in education and a coach were really what helped me transition into being a professional and entrepreneur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how easy or how difficult was that process? Because you're going to performing at a high level on the field, right? And now this field looks a little different in terms of life. So how difficult was that transition for you?
It was really difficult. And it was mentally difficult because there were no, like, initially I didn't understand, like, the measurement of success in this next phase is so different from our sports time. You know, we clearly can see when we're winning. We clearly can hear the crowd going crazy when we do a good play. You know, we compare ourselves stats wise versus everybody else. But in that next phase, I'm like moving forward, but not necessarily knowing if I'm doing it the right way, or like, I felt like I was working so hard, but I felt like everybody was working as hard as I was.
Okay, right. True.
Yeah, it's got that athlete mindset, and I didn't even recognize or realize, like, how quote unquote normal individuals who didn't play sports, how they were operating on a day to day. So I was just like burning out and all of that. But that was the main thing, was burned out, not understanding like how to structure my time and not knowing if I was taking like real steps forward. So yeah, that was the most difficult thing. I think as athletes, like, we know how to work hard. So I was cool with working hard. I just didn't, I was getting down, not knowing like if I was actually moving forward towards something, or I was just scattered, you know?
Yeah. What were those, you would say, like the few main components that you're really focused on during that transition? So was it meditating? You know, was it tapping into your coach? Was it having faith in a higher power? Like, what were those components that you really honed in on during your transition?
Yeah, great question. It was definitely like the mindset. The meditation was huge for me. And that was really that was the way I was able to like become more aware of the limiting thoughts and the limiting beliefs that came up through meditation and just journaling after meditating. Reading was very helpful, just constantly just feeding myself with more information, removing the limiting habits in my life. So I stopped playing video games. Not that it's limiting for everybody, but I was using it in a not good way. Just limiting my time on like social media, not like watching the news and like when a lot of the, you know, the energy that's in the media and that's constantly portrayed in the world, just removing myself from that and just focusing and really just writing down my goals, vision boarding, like just focusing on it and training myself to believe in that version of me. And to do that, I had to like eliminate the limiting beliefs that said I couldn't be more than an athlete.
There you go. Hello.
So.
Hello.
I think that's the big thing with former athletes is that we just have so much time on our hands now, and we're not training the way that we did every single day when we were, you know, in it. And, you know, Brittany and I, we work with a lot of younger kids and who have these big dreams and big aspirations. And one thing that we like to help them with is, you know, this is your plan A, right? This is your ultimate goal. But what is your plan AA? You know, we don't like to use the word plan B because it sounds like they're not going to make it, or we don't believe in it, or somehow they failed. But what is something else, you know, you can do while you're pursuing plan A, or, you know, when you finish plan A? But like I know for myself, when I was an athlete, you know, and people reach out and say, Steph, you're also good at this. You're also good at that. That was like, I had no idea about this or that because I was an athlete. So long way of saying, you know, after you've finished being an athlete and you reflected, how soon would you say is a good time to start thinking about your plan AA?
First, I love plan AA. That's awesome. I would say ASAP. Just like you said, it's very difficult to think about a plan B. Like when you phrase it like that, I know I've heard all the time, like, have a plan B, but
it's like, I didn't make it then.
Right.
Exactly.
That's how you feel. Yes.
If I really focus on that plan B, my plan A would like diminish in terms of. So I love the AA, first off, but I would say as soon as possible. I think the best thing that can be done is a couple of things. One thing is just seek new experiences. So travel out the country. I know we're in a different kind of world right now, but for me, it was good to be out of my comfort zone. And like, I took a public speaking class, which was way out of my comfort zone. Like one of my friends, he did I forget what it's called for whatever reason. I'm blanking on it. Improv class.
Oh, improv.
Yeah. So just getting out of your comfort zone and seeking new experiences helps you see like, okay, maybe I'm passionate about other things, or you feel yourself using that athlete mindset, tactics in other ways. And it gives you confidence like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this as well. And then also, like I said, like just seeking mentorship, seeking examples, seeking role models, finding ways to immerse yourself in the things you're passionate about, and just kind of going through life, experiencing as much as possible, as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And, I think there's a tendency for a lot of people, and I was included, to like stay at home in your comfort, but just read and like watch YouTube and like intake as much information as you can, but you're still like in a comfortable place.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. I would say get out there and get comfortable being uncomfortable, get comfortable being fearful, and that's the quickest way to grow.
Yes. I think with that, when you look at being an athlete, we have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Right. We're in a lot of positions and states where we're uncomfortable for long periods of time. We have to train our body and mind at high intervals. We have to be open to coaching, right? We have to have that mentor. We have to be open to coaching, and then we have to apply it. Right. And to your point, I think a lot of athletes, because we're not taught at a young age how to do that outside of whatever our field or course is, we get lost in that shuffle on how to transition. But there are so many industries that specifically look for former athletes, because they know that these key characteristics and attributes transfer over. In your training, in your services and working with former athletes, have you found specifically certain industries that athletes tend to transfer over to or work better for them?
Yeah, absolutely. I think entrepreneurship takes a level of like resilience and belief that translates really well for any athlete. You think of things like, I'm trying to stay away from like the normalized like coaching and broadcasting.
Yes.
There's, like public speaking. I think athletes have a story to tell that's very unique, and a lot of people want to hear it.
Absolutely.
So that's a great transition as well. Sales is also something like athletes are. Like we understand how to rebound after a no, but like there's also a competitive nature to it. A lot of sales positions, like they work on commission, so it's a naturally competitive kind of field. It translates in all places. I was actually just having a conversation with an individual yesterday. He's a kind of a big time individual in business, but he was just talking about how he doesn't enroll anybody if they did not have any type of like team sports background.
I'm telling you,
that's how serious it is.
It is.
Knowing like how to do your job and operate as a team towards one goal, but like specifically doing your job at a very high level, counting on the people around you to do their job when their specialty is something here and your specialty is here. It's just a huge advantage that we worked on our whole lives,
I'm glad that you did not say, coaching and training. And, and we have to do such a better job as mentors too. I got a kinesiology degree. Shout
did. Out to you. I did too.
I was gonna say, I bet we all got the same degree because that's what our coaches told us to do.
Communication,
right?
Somewhere around that line.
Yeah, but since being around kids now, I have never pushed kinesiology. That's just such a regular thing to do.
Yeah.
And I haven't used it again. Unless a kid comes to me and saying, I absolutely want to be a coach, or I absolutely want to train people. You're right. Business is better. Sales, all these other things that we're just more, we have talents in already. But so I'm glad that you weren't just like, coaching, training.
Yeah.
Go be an official.
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
that's the natural path. I mean, I understand it, but you can
Mhm.
expand your mind too. I think
Right.
another little sleeper industry is film as well.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
film
Mhm.
operates as a team, and
Mhm.
it's all for like this one moment, but you practice, you lead up to it, you go through walkthroughs and rehearsals, but as soon as they say, on your, set, and it goes, like everyone has to perform, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
cut. It's
Mhm.
very reminiscent of like
Right.
everybody has to do their job in that moment.
Yep.
And
Yes.
when they do it the right way, it captures the magic of the moment, and you see it on the screen. So film
Mhm.
is another one that I think athletes do really well in.
I agree, and I feel like that. I mean, I'm the I'm the one that got kinesiology
Mhm.
coached, wasn't official trainer,
Did the exact
you
same
know,
path.
and I feel
Yeah.
like that made me stay stuck in that transition
Yeah.
longer, because
Mm.
you get that game day feel, you're still an athlete, you're still around athletics, but it's not quite, you're not
Mhm.
quite
Yeah.
doing it. But as soon as you stepped out and, got creative, and fell into
Mhm.
other industries and just used a part of your brain that you hadn't used before,
Mhm.
Mhm.
the transition became much easier.
Yeah. Like I said, we have all these natural skill sets, and they become second nature to us. And
Mhm.
it's a confidence boost when you see it applied in a completely different
Right.
industry. But you got to step
Right.
out of your comfort zone to get there.
That's the point. So how do you pull, athletes who are used to being comfortable, used to finding success, used to having wins, and now they're pulled out, they're in this different field. How do you get them to jump out of that comfort zone and be uncomfortable?
I think the first thing is helping them get excited about a new championship.
Mm,
Yeah.
You know,
love that.
it's not the sports trophy anymore, but when you think about your ultimate vision in life, if you can get really, really excited about something, a version of you that feels good, that's serving the people that you love, that
Mhm.
you can think about every day, and you really feel passionate about, and you like train yourself to believe it, it'll help people get over that fear,
Yes.
and then just kind of working with them on limiting beliefs, like what is the fear, what is the belief behind the fear.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not easy, it's not simple, and people have to be ready for the transformation. You
Yes.
can't force them to want to go through it. I know when I was going through my tough time, I wasn't asking anybody for help. Like the ego was in the way of that. I
Okay.
was, I
Yep.
was, you know what I mean? I was going through it, thinking that I could do it on my own, and not knowing I was stressed out. Like I said, I
Mm.
was just in that zone. So any opportunity for help, I couldn't even see the
See
opportunity
it.
because I was locked
Wow.
in.
Wow.
So people, it's not easy, but once I saw that picture of myself and I was receptive to it, then I found my mentor, then I got everything I needed. you know.
Wow. Now let me take you back to like college and in the NFL. You hear about, and you went to a great university, Florida's great university. You hear about like player development programs that they have, and the NFL, and same thing with the NBA. They have these programs that's supposed to set the athlete up outside of just playing the game. From your perspective, like, are these programs any good? Are they any use? Because I feel like our boys are still coming out broke, and our women is what, like, financial components, our mindset components.
Yeah.
Are we really doing this the correct way? Is there
Yeah.
a better way to do this?
I think you can add to it. I think there's a lot of value that you can get from, getting told about like a networking event or a luncheon, or like
Okay.
some sort of job shadowing opportunities, and financial person coming in and speaking to you, like budget and save, like that's all important. But if you don't deal with like the whole person, or like the
Hello.
psychological factor behind it, like there's a reason behind like athletes going broke that's
Mhm.
deeper than just like lack of financial literacy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like I said, a lot of my money was spent escaping from a trauma that I didn't know how to deal with. So people are going out to the club more often than they need to, spending money on like, strip clubs and all that. There's something deeper that isn't being addressed.
Right.
And it's not just a lack of knowing how money works.
Right.
So I think these programs just have to go deeper into the psychology and also like address the real issue of athletes not feeling like they have anything exciting to like live for anymore, or like feeling like life will never be as exciting again than the time playing sports. So there just needs to be more added to it that deals with the whole athlete, not just like mentally you need to learn how to do this skill set.
Right. Because that's what it seemed like. That's where the focus is still on just the performance on the field or on the court. Yeah,
exactly. And it's a small part of the whole game.
Wow.
Wow. So I would say they just need to add a little bit more.
Cool. What's that?
I was going to ask you, where are you from?
Me?
Yeah. You ask that a lot.
I do. Yes. My family roots are Louisiana.
I felt it.
No, you felt it. And everyone says that.
Yeah,
like, I felt it.
Like that's what it is.
Yeah. That's like Baton Rouge. That's what it sounds like.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Just kind of wear that so we don't have to.
Yeah. That's funny.
LSU all the way.
Yep. Go LSU. Funny. Go Tigers.
Hey, that's all good.
Let's talk about Nyjah and Simone and Naomi.
Man, it's been a tough Olympics on the mental. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because people are tagging mental health as this new age athlete. And it's like mental health is not this new virus. It didn't come on along with the coronavirus and now we've got athletes struggling. It's always been here, right? And mental health isn't just a breakdown, someone getting to a big stage and I can't do it, today. It's a continual process and buildup and, pressure and confidence and, everything that goes into it. So now we have athletes like Simone Biles and Nyjah Houston and, Naomi Osaka who get to the big stage. And really all of them, their biggest concern was I let down everybody, not just I personally didn't get a medal today, but I let down everybody. So if you had an opportunity to help those athletes or athletes on that big stage, what would you do or how would you address that?
Yeah, I mean, they are individuals who, obviously are performing at the highest of the highest levels. And with that comes the highest of the highest pressures. I mean, everything that I experience, everything that you all experience, I mean, they're experiencing, I'm sure, at a very, 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 very high level. I think when it comes down to like the complexity of mental health, therapy is very, very, very powerful to really uncover like the deepest aspects of why they're going through that.
Right.
But I would approach them the exact same way I approach anybody, which is taking them through a real self-discovery process that like addresses all of them, not just that identity of an athlete. And figuring out like, what is it? Like, how am I speaking to myself? How am I acting on a day-to-day? Like the whole self-discovery process, giving them different tools to go through that process, how to reflect, how to really figure that out. Like I said, therapy is important if you really are going through something serious.
Yeah.
And then just continuing to nurture that. And I think ultimately surrounding them with a community of individuals who are going through something similar. Like they're the top of the top of the top. So it's going to be hard to find somebody who's going exactly what you're going through. But being around other athletes who are approaching life in the same way that they did their sport and being purposeful in that sense can be super helpful. So yeah, I think ultimately it's the same thing. Not just and the truth is not just athletes, it's everybody needs to like practice self-awareness and figure out like what is it about how I'm thinking, how I'm emotionally feeling on a day-to-day, like my actions. What is it about these things that are holding me back from ultimately where I want to go? And even if you make it to the Olympics, like after that, there still has to be something there that you want to go to, some vision that you want to go to, or you're going to feel stuck. You're going to feel like you're not moving forward. So
I think we see it with, well, before there, when I look at Simone, Naomi, and Nyjah, I'm like, these are all individual sports as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does that play a huge factor in it where you don't have this team camaraderie that you can pull on others? Does that, how large is that impact on them? And how do you get around that?
Yeah. I'm sure it's huge because they're not, like you said, they're not really used to playing in that team environment. It adds a bit of complexity to it for sure. But ultimately, I think just that community is important. So it would be new for them, but it's the same thing. Like I would tell anybody, like eventually you have to move out of your comfort zone. And even as athletes, even though like when we train, we're putting ourselves in uncomfortable situations, just like we are very, what's the word? We know what to expect. And so we're comfortable in that uncomfortable, in our comfortable box.
Right. Still knowing it could be A, B, C, or D. And I know how to react to that.
We can just navigate better in that box.
Exactly. So we're uncomfortable in our comfortable box as athletes. So ultimately, you know, when that time comes when, you know, she's looking at life outside of sports, when all of them are dealing with life outside of sports, being uncomfortable and learning how to be comfortable in that state is super important.
Yeah, and I think these athletes also just need to be told that, you know, it's okay. You know, I mean, Michael Jordan took a break from the game that he loved, you know, and we forget that. We just think he's Michael, and that's my favorite athlete ever. But he did the same thing. You know, he had to take a break. And we're in this crazy nation where, you know, we taking a break from like relationships, right? That's okay. I need to find myself. But if you take a break from a sport, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's like, what kind of people are we that sports have a higher standard than people? You know what I mean? So I think these people just have to hear that, you know, it's okay. Take care of yourself for a minute, then come back stronger, or find something different. You know, this isn't the only you that exists.
Their personal mental health is more important than anything. I feel like, you know, just it always comes first. So I understand it because I was the type of player who would play at 70% and hurt myself more for my team. And like, you know, whoever they feel like they are playing for, whether it's their family or letting the whole USA down, like that's a lot of pressure. And I would have trouble doing this. I would have trouble putting my mental health first if I knew that it would like possibly let down the USA, you know?
Right. That's like Simone. She said, I feel like I have the world on my shoulders.
Yeah, the entire universe.
Not my mom and dad, not my siblings, the entire world. And this girl has already produced for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's insane.
Oh, it's
but shout out to the women though. The women are leading the charge in this mental health conversation in sports. So they're amazing. They're amazing.
True.
Yeah. So
trailblazers in it.
Exactly.
So what age do you start to work with athletes in your service?
So my particular postseason platform that I have, we target like serious athletes.
Okay.
So we say collegiate, professional, and then also like enthusiasts, those who love sports, fitness, and would consider themselves like the identity of an athlete, even if they didn't play collegiately. Now, I work with high schoolers as well, middle school, but I do that primarily through like camps, which I haven't had in a couple of years because of COVID. Getting that back going next year. But ultimately, my service is really serious athletes. And like the biggest thing is those who like really put their all into the identity of an athlete, like really had mental pictures in their mind of themselves playing at the highest level. So those individuals will get the most out of what we're creating at postseason.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's worked
And
out
do
really
you
well.
do you offer online services? I'm assuming
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And in
So
person. Okay.
yep. So it's all online at the moment. We have a website and then an app that should have been out today, but
Okay. It's coming
the
though.
the app store is asking more questions. It's still a review, so it'll be out
Okay.
like Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, it's an app. They'll have access to online courses.
Okay.
Right now, there's one online course, the one I created called the Athlete Purpose Playbook. We're going to partner with other individuals to put more courses on there, but
Love
have
it.
access to online courses, community curated experiences. So there's like a social feed, like a news feed where they'll be able to communicate with one another, but also we have weekly curated like discussions, guest panelists, guest speakers, book clubs. I mean, just a whole, we call that the locker room. This is the community
Okay.
hub.
Okay.
Then there's the meeting room. So they'll get like weekly group coaching sessions as well and be able to like see a library of the past meetings and learn on that. So really it's online courses, community experiences, and weekly coaching.
All in there. I love it.
All in there. The
I
locker
love
room,
that.
the playbook, and the meeting room.
Okay. So what's the name of the app? So we can find it when it comes up. Postseason.
Postseason. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
It's postseason. You know, there's definitely a process of, becoming a member.
Okay.
It's definitely an investment, but it's one of those commitment type experiences where you invest in it and you really have everything that you need for life off the field. That's the whole point of it.
Okay. So I'm going to take you for a little twist. So I want to get your feelings on the name, image, and likeness as a former collegiate athlete. So now we have, our college players can benefit off their name, image, likeness, and some high school players we're seeing. Mikey Williams being one of the first ones who's still in high school. I think he's a junior now, some junior, senior. But the kid already has like $1 million endorsements. So when we think of that, we're like, great, it's a great opportunity, but let's tap back into the mindsets. And how do we prep our kids now to have this platform to build themselves? Because they're their own brands, essentially. That's what they're building. So what's your feelings on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy to explain to someone that young whose brain hasn't fully developed what to do with that. So, I mean, no matter what education you put in front of them, it's going to be hard to tell somebody that, it's not easy. But, I think the biggest thing you do is continue to support them. I think if that becomes the norm, then there's got to be like real programs in place to like lead them through. Or if they're getting this off of an independent source and like not through the school or the program, then the program has to find a way to like provide something for them.
A service, right?
Something has to happen.
Yeah.
It gets tricky, but there's definitely nothing easy about that if they truly at that age like understand how to manage it. And it can be a great thing. It should be a great thing in theory. It's a great thing in theory. You just got to figure out how to best like implement the plan so it doesn't turn into a not so great thing.
That's our fear. That is our fear right now. It's like, what's the plan? What are stipulations? Like, how's everything? It's still kind of up in the air on what this is going to look like. Yeah.
It's going to be rocky for a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
It's going to be a learning kind of situation. But ultimately, I think the answers will come up. Leaders in this sector will present ideas, but it's going to take like some probably hard lessons from certain individuals to learn from,
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's what I was thinking. Kids gonna lose money before they make money.
Yeah. Then there's just the sharks out there.
Right. Don't we know it?
The sharks out there who will take advantage of that. Or if that child doesn't have like as much support in their village, like at home, who's telling them when to say no to a certain deal that's not great for them. So
yeah. Okay. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that as someone going to Florida. I mean, that's a big money school right there.
Yeah.
Especially for football.
hmm Exactly.
Oh,
I
man.
get it. I get what they're going through, though.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, you want to unlace them?
Let's unlace
All
you.
right. So we're gonna
Unlace
lace you. Yeah, we're gonna lace you.
Let's unlace you. Just looking at you and hearing your story and what your mission is now with empowering athletes and such. The shoe that comes to mind for you is the Jordan 1 origin story from Spideyverse or Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Because you're the person that's helping Miles Morales, right? That Miles is struggling with who this new identity is and who he can become and how powerful he can be. And he just has to take that leap of faith to show just how truly powerful he can be in whatever he's doing. So you're our Spider-Verse.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. The origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta start somewhere. You gotta take that leap. I love that.
It.
Mhm.
That is
Awesome.
it.
I'm happy to be unlaced.
We love it. Well, thank you so much. We enjoyed you and I look forward to your project and your app helping tons of athletes and even athlete enthusiasts.
Yeah.
We're all the athletes some way, somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that mindset it's produced the most successful people. So we want to thank you and wish you well.
Thank you for having me, Brittany and Stephanie. This was awesome. Awesome interview. And good luck with everything. I appreciate what y'all are doing. This is awesome. And anytime I can support.
Same here. All right.
Yeah.
Thank
Have
you.
a
Thank
good
you.
one.
All right.
Take care.
Peace.
Bye.